Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for being here once again for BCR Technique 30-Day Challenge, and we are on day number 20. So once again, if this is your first day, your first time checking this out, looking at the BCR Technique 30-Day Challenge, then I invite you just to go to the video description here and click on the link for the video playlist. And you can go right to day 0 and start there with the 30-day challenge and just allot yourself 30 days, right? Get started on day number 0, right? That's just your beginning phase to understand more about the breath work and the calmness. And then when you go into day number 1, that's where you officially start the rolling out of understanding the BCR technique. So again, if this is your first time here, do not worry, you do not have to perform any exercises taking place here on day number 20. This again is only for your 20th day, right? So just making that clear, because everybody's kind of on their own time period. Everybody comes and checks out the BCR Technique 30-Day Challenge at their own specific allotment of time. So again, everything that's taught today, make sure you're just doing it on your day 20 and later, okay? Thank you very much, everybody, once again. Everybody on the chat, thank you very much. Thank you for being here. All right, so as the title says, we're going to be looking a little bit more into variant healing. All right, so looking into the idea of the healing of your variant. Now, I was talking about this yesterday, and of course the day before, about looking into your extension healing and working together with these other extensions of yourself, which I have termed variants. All right, the term is actually borrowed from the show Loki. If you guys have watched the Loki show on Disney Plus, right, where he basically is a variant and he has all these other different variants with himself that he encounters. So you know what, that's a good term of it. Usually I would just say other versions of yourself, but I'm using the idea of variant because it's quite suitable. It kind of just rolls off the tongue too. So, so that's why we call it variants, right? You're just looking at different variants or different versions of yourself throughout the stream of memory, throughout the stream of your timeline that you're connecting together with, all right? Hopefully nobody here has a variant of an alligator, all right? You guys have to watch the show to get that joke. Okay, anyways, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. I'm going to just pop up the whiteboard now. All right, so looking into variants. So as I was saying yesterday, that you could look at a newborn baby, and that would be one of the best ways to start off with your variant healing or your extension healing altogether, right? You're seeing yourself as the newborn. And as I've also talked about, is that it's good to have your notebook, right? It's good if you have like a notepad, a tablet, a phone, but it's also very good to have your own notebook as well too. And you're just writing everything out. Like I said, we want to go into the kind of meat and potatoes relating to the situation, right? So if you're tuning into a younger version of yourself, a younger variant, maybe 10 years in the past, right? And you're seeing your situation unfold and you're just writing out the paragraph. Remember, we're looking to those 4 basic questions, as I talked about yesterday as well too, okay? What is this situation? Who's with you, right? What is the experience you're going through, right? How are you feeling? So we're looking into some of those basic questions and just getting an idea about what's happening, right? It's just helping us to kind of get the meat and potatoes out of everything relating to the situation, so that when we have that informed paragraph, we can now start working with the 3 bodies, right? The physical body, the emotional body, and the mental body. And we have data that we can put directly into those 3 areas of the bodies, all right? So like I said, we start off, for example, with the newborn, right? Now, of course, not everybody is going to remember what they're like as a baby, right? This is why I say you can talk to your mom, you can talk to your dad, you can talk to your family that were maybe your extended family that was there at the time of your birth about how you reacted, who heard your stories. I'm pretty sure your mom probably told you what you were like when you were a newborn, right? So you're utilizing that if you have no direct memory with it, okay? Like I said, the newborn is one of the most important areas for us to look into, right? Because that's the beginning of our traumas, right? And I'd say the great majority of people on Earth, born on this planet through a mother, have basically had very deep traumas as a newborn coming into this world. Because again, they have a lot of these doctors, physicians who do not know what they're doing to basically soothe and comfort the child, bringing them in. It's all just poking and prodding and doing all these procedures and everything like that. It's very alien, right? It's an alien thing to do. It's very mechanical. It's very artificial, right? No offense to the doctors in that sense. They just haven't been trained to work together with welcoming in a new life. To them, it's just another day. To them, it's just another mechanical procedure, right? Like I said, it's very robotic, very artificial, very cold, right? When I'm looking back into my newborn birth as well, too, it was very cold, right? Like I said, I came out through C-section. So it was very, very cold, right? And just people that just, just another day, just another punching of the clock today, right? Punching in and punching out of the clock. And that's really what it is. There's no sacredness to the idea of a baby coming into the world. And for those of you who did have a sacred birth, well, that's great. Maybe that's something that you can honor then, right? For those of you who have had like a more sacred birth, a much more cherished time with your mom, and there may be some of you that have that. That's wonderful, right? It's good to share that with people because that gives them inspiration as part of a process for healing. But for many of us, no. We basically got into the artificial hospitals. We went into the robotic ways of procedures. And again, we were just pulled from the mother's womb and just absolutely crying in dread that we were brought into the world like that, right? So you just come into this world in trauma, right? So this is why we focus on the newborn. So like I said, when you're working together with your variant, like I said, you're not really having a counseling session. You're not having a therapeutic session. Obviously, you cannot have a counseling session with a newborn baby, right? So like I said, when we do the BCR technique, right, and here we are now in the reinforcement space. Okay, we create our reinforcement space through the heart. Complete and total love and harmony. We create these beautiful reflections from the heart. And then again, we put all that love energy, all that accumulated love energy directly into ourselves. And then we look either left or right, and we see our variant, okay? And that variant, for example, could be the newborn, right? So you're seeing that little baby, maybe inside a bassinet, right? And you're just going up to that little baby that is you, and you're just filling that little baby with pure love. Like I said, this is a scale, okay? So here you are, after doing the BCR technique, with all that love energy flowing through you harmoniously, okay? When the variant comes in, they may be like this, okay? They're very much down here. Now, like I said, they're almost kind of like they're just very still, right? You can tell that they're alive and that they're breathing, but they're very still, because like I said, we're not doing a counseling session here. So what we are doing is we are sending all of that love down to them. All right? So again, like I said, we approach them, we just fill them with that love. Now that love can basically interpret itself in any way that you wish. Just because I share some examples with you guys, that does not mean it has to be the way, okay? Like I said, one idea was to have a person here, okay, one variant, and you're just filling them with this golden light of love, right? And you actually see them becoming an illuminated being. Okay? That's one example. That's not the only thing, okay? So people will come to me a lot and say, oh, Brad, I see it like this, right? I basically see them kind of in this magnetic field. And this magnetic field is getting bigger and bigger, and I see them smiling. That's great. You are creator, right? There are countless ways about how you can see yourself filling that love to that person. It's not really important, right? What matters is that you're seeing that reciprocation of love being filled into your variant, right? Now we're moving that energy up because the variant is now feeling really, really good. And once it is equal to your level of love energy, right? It's above Mount Olympus like you are. Now you're able to, again, send that variant back to its own memory-based timeline, okay? Time is memory. That's all time is, right? It really doesn't even have a substance to it. Our memories don't really have a substance to it. We recall things, right? We recollect on things, and they simply exist as memory. They're basically just in the ethers, right? Whenever we're looking at memory, we can never come out and physically touch that memory, right? Because we are here and now. So if we look into, for example, what took place yesterday, I was sitting at the kitchen table having my dinner, All right, can I go back into that very moment and physically touch everything and physically experience everything exactly as it was last night, pertaining to my dinner, the type of dinner I had, the time I sat down, every single action, everything? Of course not. Well, that's it. It goes back to that old saying, you never enter the same river twice, right? You are always here and now, right? If we're looking at a clock here, all it ever says is now, okay? That's what's true. That's the true nature. It's now and it's here. Okay? Memory simply exists as a phantom. Okay? It is a phantom effect and it is impermanent. So this is why we are able to go into memory. This is why memory is what it is, and that gives us a distinct advantage, because all you're looking at with memory is the nature of etheric properties. Right? It has no physical substance to touch. You basically just value the nature of memory because you think, oh, this actually happened to me. This actually took place. Well, that again is how you assign it. You've assigned the memory to respond in that way, for you to feel like you're down in the dumps here and feeling like, again, as a newborn, you were mistreated, right? So again, like I said, it's not a very comfortable environment, of course. But what we are doing is we are reshaping that. We're reshaping our memory to bring it into harmony. And that is us working together with extension healing, right? So whether it's a newborn, whether it's yourself as a young child, right, a teen, etc., you have these variants that are coming in, okay? What I would suggest is you're just using your loving nature to work with one variant at a time. But like I said, your variant will not leave your space until they are here. They have to be on the same equal level of love with you. Otherwise, they stay here. Okay? So they will always be in your space until you bring them up into that level of love where you are. Then they can return back into their memory timeline. All right? They can return back into time, which again is memory. Memory is time. Time is memory. Okay? So that's what we're doing. As we're going into the reinforcement space, we're creating our love space through our heart. We feel so absolutely elated, right? We're using the gauge. We're expanding out our hands. We're feeling so much love. We're feeling absolutely amazing. And we bring that energy in. We're compressing that ball. We're putting it into the heart. We're taking a moment. All right, we turn left or we turn right, and we see a variant, okay? And that's the variant that we were looking to work with, right? So if it's a person who got bullied in high school, right, when they were 16 and they recall that memory very, very well, they've written out the meat and potatoes about the paragraph, right? And they've been able to discover data that they can put into their physical, mental, and emotional bodies. And now you have something to work with. Now they do BCR, okay? They go into love accumulation. They look right, and here's the variant, right? So now you're just approaching that variant, and with all of that love that you have accumulated within yourself, you're sharing that love with your variant, okay? So your variant is now getting filled up. Like I said, an example is just seeing them as a luminous body, right? Seeing them just being filled with this light. You're bringing them to your level because they're you, right? This is you that you're working with. You're just working with yourself as a variant through your own time stream, through your own memory stream, okay? And as you, again, bring that upliftment there, you can feel the love flowing through them. You can see them smiling. You can see them laughing, right? They're ready. You can also call upon your love energy entity, and you can bring that love energy entity in, and they can also assist you in bringing high degrees of love accumulation directly into the variant, therefore filling up that variant, and then bringing them back into their memory timeline. All right? So that's all we're doing, right? It's very, very simple. It's a simple process. So we have to uplift ourselves first, obviously, right? That's what we're doing in the BCR technique. We're not just saying, oh, just go ahead and work with this variant. No, 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 no. You got to do BCR technique first, right? Right after you put all that love energy directly into yourself, you're feeling above Mount Olympus. Now you can start working together with your variant, right? So now you're uplifting that energy, moving it on the same level of the bar that you're at, and now that's when you can send your variant back. And like I said yesterday, I just gave an example of saying, oh, here I see my variant coming back, and I see them in harmony with their entire space. Okay, that's optional, right? Because I was just doing that for an expression sake, right? But that's something you don't have to do, okay? As long as you just feel that variant at your level of love, you can feel the happiness within them, right? You're really looking to their eyes. And even if you guys are having trouble with visualizing your variant, feel them, okay? You feel them, because everybody can do that, right? If you're at the heart level, you can at least feel. You may not be able to visualize, but you can at least feel, right? And you're just feeling them. You can kind of like touch their heart. I feel it. I just feel it. I just know that they're on my level now, that they're on that level of love, and I can send them back, right? You send them back. So now you feel the difference. What this is all about, right? Because we're basically creating an interface here, right? What this is all about is that you're taking that tarry substance of conflict, right? And we're burning it up. We're burning it up with love energy, okay? It's basically being scorched is what's happening, okay? So again, if something is so heavy, so solid, so dense, and here you are, filled with all of this love, right? All of that dense energy is being burned away so that this bar can move up to here, okay? This density, this vibration right here is being held down by these dense bricks, okay? It is the weight of trauma. The good thing is that trauma is actually very fragile. It can be burned away very easily as long as we get up here, okay? This really does not have a lot of pull to keeping something down, right? When you're up on love, right? Because if you're on this level, it's going to seem impossible, right? I can't move these bricks. These are 10-ton bricks. There's no way I can move them, right? So again, it goes back to that old saying of Jesus, right? With man, such a thing is impossible, but with God, all things are possible, right? So what do? We go all the way up to God. We go up to the love energy. We do the BCR technique. We create our reinforcement space. We are absolutely in love with our space and everything that's in it. People, places, things, everything. Everything brings us so much love, so much happiness. And now we're just illuminating ourselves because we're accumulating all this love energy. We're going all the way up to God. Like I said, you're moving past Mount Olympus. You're going past the gods, and you're going right up to God, right above Mount Olympus, right? So when you're here, this is nothing. This is like melting ice with fire. No problem. I can melt all of that ice away because I have this pure spirit fire that I can make as hot as I want. And now all those bricks start melting away. Those 10-ton blocks start melting away because that represented the trauma. Now that variant is able to move up. It's like an escalator, just going right to the top floor where you are. That's what we're doing. We're using the proverbial heat of the love energy to melt those gigantic ice bricks, right? So ice bricks are being cleared away, right? The coldness representing that of conflict, right? It's ice cold. So we're melting that away with the natural loving heat of love, right? It's kind of like that passion is a fire, love is a fire. And we're using that. We're using that passion, that fire, to burn all of this away, to melt all of this away, so that this platform can now go up to here. So here you are, and here's your variant, right? And again, you have that embracing hug. You tell that variant you love them, right? You feel that love within them, and you send them back. And now you look into yourself for that trauma, and you say, it feels better. I feel so completely released from that trauma. I don't feel that heaviness there anymore, right? I'm working on it. I'm clearing it out. The love energy is scorching it away, and it feels amazing. And it really is a gentle heat. But compared to the conflict, the conflict is basically facing an inferno. But through yourself, you're feeling this gentle, caressing heat, right? So all of those bricks, all of those ice blocks get melted. And now here you are, looking at your variant at eye level, at the same level now. Vibrationally speaking, they're at the same level as you. That's all we're doing, okay? So we're going through our timeline. So we want to make sure that we have a timeline here. And that's one of the important things. This is why I say make sure that you use a notebook, okay? It's good to have a notebook and just write these things down, okay? So here's my stage here as a newborn baby. Here's a situation I had when I was 8 years old, a fight with my sister, for example. Here I am at 12 years old when I was skipping school because I really couldn't stand it anymore and I had a big fight with my family, okay? There's another event. Here's when I was 15, I had my first girlfriend, right? And then we had a breakup, right? And that breakup was hard on me, so I'm putting that down again as a major life event. So here I am at the age of 20. I move out of my parents' place, I get into my new place. Things didn't go as well as they turned. I had financial problems and I was in a lot of stress. There's another one, okay? Here I am at 25 years old. I get married for the first time, my first marriage to my husband or wife, right? And it was a bit of a tragic day because there was a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of arguing and fighting and a lot of conflict, and I wanted to deal with that. So here I am in present day, okay? Right now, facing all this, looking back at all this. So there you go. You've created a very simple timeline, right? Looking at some major events within your life. So all of these are variants, okay? So we start off with the first one, the newborn, okay? That newborn is in your space. You're doing exactly what I just shared with you, okay? Lifting that newborn up to your platform, filling that newborn with love. Now you see that newborn giggling. Now you see that newborn laughing, right? You just feel a lot of peace within the newborn's heart. You have harmonized that variant. Send them back, okay? Feel it within yourself, right? You're working on yourself. All of these variants are you, right? So as you lift them up, you're feeling all that love energy that you feel within them, okay? So it's all reciprocated. It's all one being here. There is no other here. You have a hologram of a variant of yourself, but it's just you. It's just a reflection, right? So you're putting all of that love into them. They're feeling happy. They're feeling overjoyed. They're feeling excited, right? You embrace them with a hug. You tell them you love them, and you send them back because they're on the same level with you. And now you observe yourself. Is this hot, fiery, parasitic debris still there, or has it been completely burned away, right? I don't feel that energy there anymore. I don't feel that weight that's there anymore. It's been burned up, okay? So I'm working with my love energy entity, right? I can even work together with the massage technique that I was teaching you guys yesterday. If you're feeling that there's some very heavy spots within yourself, right? You're doing something just very simple. You're accumulating that love energy. You should already be at Mount Olympus here. You should already be really high, okay? And you're just rubbing that energy, that love energy, directly into that dense spot and watching that dense energy burn up, okay? You're watching the ice blocks melt. So you're just working together with just massaging that energy, clockwise direction, right? And you're just feeling all of that energy being burnt up. It's good for you to do that before you bring in your variant, okay? So now again, if you have all of that love energy, you're all the way up here, you're just scanning your body. How am I feeling? Okay, well, there's a heavy spot here, right, that I did not notice before, right? So maybe I'll take a mental note or I'll write that down on my notepad. Okay, there's a heavy block of energy in my abdomen that I did not notice before. Okay, so that's a physical sensation. So I'm physically feeling it. I'm tuning into it. Okay, it's a lot of buried trauma. It's a lot of depression, right? A lot of depression energy. So I'm putting that down as an emotion. Okay, what was that representing as a barrier? Feeling that nothing could ever get better, all right? Incapable of getting better, right? And that's the belief system. That's in your mental body, right? So there you go. You got some information there. Now go to work with it, okay? You got your love energy on full, right? You fully expanded your hands out, showing that's how much love energy you have in your heart. If you don't have that much love energy in your heart, don't expand your hands. You're not just expanding your hands for the sake of expanding your hands, okay? You're using this as a gauge. Your hands are a gauge. And you're seriously tuning into your heart, and you're being aware of how much love energy is coming through. So it could be slow like this, okay? Be honest with yourself. Don't cheat with the gauge, right? You're being very, very honest about how much love energy is coming into yourself. Some people could just stay like this for a while, all right? And I said go back into your reinforcement space, make yourself overjoyed. Again, if you're just feeling like this and you're not really moving, okay, you haven't made a very good reinforcement space at all, right? In the nicest way I could say, your reinforcement space sucks because it's not doing the job, right? So you want to erase all that. I want to go into the heart and I want to make my reinforced space talk to my heart. I want my heart talked to. And this is what's coming together in my reinforcement space. I'm not going to be overly modest with myself. Modesty is not even really a good thing. It's mostly just an emotion in that way. You want to be humble, not modest, right? Modesty actually kind of parallels itself with apathy in a certain degree, okay? I mean, some people may have different perspectives of that. I've always seen modesty as something that's not really that great, right? It's a disguised degree of apathy, right? So I look at humility, right? We're being humbled because that's the true nature, right? That's the idea where it's some people think, well, humility is, it's kind of like you're not caring about anything. No, not at all. You are absolutely caring about things. You're not caring about old things that no longer matter. You're caring about things that actually truly do matter, right? That's the difference. So we're working with humility here, right? So again, if your reinforcement space sucks because it's not giving you that love energy, no offense, but your space sucks, right? So you want to make sure you're working with the reinforcement space that touches your heart, right? I don't care if you make all these beautiful surroundings. Does it touch your heart? Well, no, not really. And your space sucks, okay? And you need to clean it out. It needs to clear. You're pressing the delete button, you go back to void. I want you to create something that touches your heart, not just something that is eye candy, okay? We're not creating eye candy, guys, with our reinforcement space. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong, okay? You got to touch to your heart. Your heart is the architect, okay? It is telling you what pure love is. You may see yourself just inside the mother's womb, right? You may be inside your mother's womb because that's where the peace was. That's what you felt. You feel your mother's heartbeat. You feel this peace just floating in a womb. And if that's what your heart tells you, that's your reinforcement space, that's what you use, right? You may feel yourself completely comfortable in a void. And if that's your heart telling you, that's your reinforcement space, that's what you use. Okay, you're not dressing up your space for eye candy purposes. That is defeating the purpose, right? You're just looking outside. We're not looking outside in our reinforcement space. This is being created inside. The heart is the architect, right? So create your space that is in complement to your heart, not in complement to your eyes, not in complement to your brain, okay? A complement here in the heart. So we want to remember that. This is why some people may have that difficulty. I can only really go up to about here, right? And that's as far as I can go. Well, then your reinforcement space isn't doing it. It sucks, right? Clear it away. Work with the heart. Go into the heart. Do your breath work, right? Go into calmness. Listen to the heart. You want to spend more time in the subtle vibration of yourself, okay? That's where heart rate variability comes in, right? Where you're doing the HRV, and you're bringing yourself into subtle breathing, into subtle states of being, low idling, okay? So that's all we're doing, is we want to keep ourselves in that subtle state, that subtle vibration. I mean, this is how you learn how to channel. This is how you learn how to be a medium, okay? People who are able to channel and people who are able to be mediums are living like this constantly, okay? They're in subtle vibration. You may actually look at them and it's like their eyes are almost dilated almost all the time, right? And that too is indicating a low, subtle state. You could also refer to them as natural alphas, right? They're in the natural alpha brainwave state, okay? And that's a great state to be in, right? That's keeping yourself in an idle state, and it's kind of like you're just keeping the engine running, right? But you're not revving the engine, right? You're just keeping yourself nice and idle, and the gear shift is set to neutral. You're just idling your vehicle, right? That's all we're doing here. It's a subtle state of being. When you're there, this is where you can go into greater depth, right? You're going into deeper exploration within yourself. If we're here in the beta state, what am I going to do? What am I going to do for supper? What about my money situation? What about this? What about that? Da, 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 da. It's a loud frequency, right? So we're attempting to get out of that. We're attempting to get out of beta. We can actually harmonize beta. It's actually quite possible, right? So from this, actually let me clear this out because I'm running out of room here. Okay, so if we're harmonizing the beta frequency, it's very much like this. Let me just fix the size here. Okay, if it's very much like this, then as we do a lot of meditation over time, it goes like this. Okay? It's much more streamlined. It's much more in a better alignment there. Okay? And that's the beta frequency, right? We're moving to the alpha. It's kind of like this. Okay? Much more smoother. Okay? When we're going into the theta, more like that. Okay? When we're going into the delta, more like that. Okay? When we're going into gamma, more like that. You see how much information is there? Each of these lines represent information. The gamma wave frequency is like the dialogue of the higher self. It's like the dialogue of spirit, right? So it's a it's an intense, right? It's moving up to about 60 hertz or so. But again, it is much more, it's an intense but subtle vibration because of its impact it has on you, right? It's a subtle vibration, but you have all of these lines representing great amounts of data, great amounts of information, great amounts of spiritual knowledge, right? That's the gamma frequency. So that's something that's a lot more challenging, right? You have to meditate more over time to really build up the gamma waves, right? The gamma frequencies, you got to spend a lot of time in meditation. You want to spend more time in low idle, into subtle states, okay? And as you do, your beta starts to, again, harmonize itself. It starts to become a lot more streamlined, right? So we're working together with increasing the gamma frequency within ourselves. This is why I'm able to connect with spirit. I've already measured myself with the gamma waves using this, right? It's a simple EEG device. And I've gone into a program called Mind Monitor, and I've been looking at my gamma frequency, and it's going up. It's going up a lot more. It's been going up a lot more ever since I retired channeling and went right into spirit, right? Right into natural spirit communication. I am spirit. Gamma waves shot when I did that, okay? So this is exactly why I was being guided. It's time to hang up channeling, because now you can go right to spirit and you can get all this information. Look at all these waves here. All of this is spiritual knowledge, and it's flowing through you. And now you can do that, right? So again, guys, I didn't hang up my channeling because I was getting bored with it. I was hanging up my channeling because it was time to let it go. It was divinely guided to say, no more with channeling, no more with Adronis. It's time to hang it up. You don't need a net. Because by you being with Adronis, you're basically having an obstruction there, right? It's not that he's bad in any way, but he was an obstruction because I was relying on him to get information. You don't need to do that anymore, right? So Adronis had to pack up his bags and leave, right? So now it's between me and spirit, right? Always love him. That will never change. But it was not necessary for him to be there anymore, right? He fulfilled his contract. He fulfilled his agreement. And now he can go on and do other things, right? While I go on and do other things, right? I still have people sometimes complaining about that. Oh, why aren't you bringing Adronis back? Why isn't he coming back? Guys, it's not a personal vendetta I have against him. It was just time to hang it up. It was time to finish up channeling. I didn't need it anymore, right? I'm now moving into natural spirit communication. I am spirit. And my own gamma waves, from what I'm measuring here, is proving that, right? So that's, again, what we're doing. We're just looking into all these frequencies here, and we're spending a lot more time in the low idle, in the subtle states. And as you do that more and more over time, your gamma waves are going to spike, okay? You're going to have a lot more information coming through spirit. I'm sharing this with you guys because this is what's going to help you to really talk to your heart a lot more. This has everything to do with BCR technique. Okay, the nature of the BCR technique is to form an alliance together with your heart. You are living inside the home of the heart. You're learning how to accumulate love so deeply because that is what we need right now. We're in the 2020s, okay? The 2020s, I don't mean to sound biblical here. Okay? It's Judgment Day. That's really what we're going through right now. It's not meaning to sound biblical, but basically we are judging ourselves. We are seeing what the world truly is. We have cleared a veil where we're now able to see people as they really are, and we're seeing it throughout the world. We're seeing how much clarity is being shown to us by people who are committing evil deeds, who are basically corrupt to the bone. They can't hide it anymore. Why? Because around the 2020s, a veil dropped, right? A very big veil dropped. And now we're seeing no longer anything that was once clandestine. It's now being very apparent. We are seeing these apparent actions. We are seeing these apparent behaviors in everybody, in our family, in our friends, in our co-workers, in our bosses, in our acquaintances, on strangers in the street, politicians, everything, right? No stone has been left unturned. The veil has dropped. And now that we're in 2020, we're seeing humanity as it truly is. There's no hiding anymore. You can't hide anything anymore, right? So this is why it's so important right now to get into your heart space, because this is you helping you to get past your artificialities, right? Your inconveniences, right? Your calamities, your challenges, your traumas. It is the ideal time right now to get here. And for those of you who are here, you've reached past the point of no return. Okay, Adronis talked about that in December of 2020, that we move into the point of no return. And that's where we are right now. You see how everything's changed with that point of no return, how we're seeing just everything being very, very affirmed, being very obvious, right? We're seeing the appearance of clarity here. And sometimes it's not a very, very attractive thing, but nonetheless, we're seeing things in truth, okay? It's a truth and reconciliation time of the planet right now. It's a great cleansing that's going on. So right now, there's a huge cleansing going on, and this is going to continue for the rest of the decade, okay? The entire 2020s is a cleansing decade. It's really what it represents, okay? So there's cleansing, there's awakening, okay? We have cleansing, we have awakening, and there's a trial going on, okay? This trial is being lived through us. Each of us are on trial right now. We are being shown about who we really are by the type of people that we meet, the type of events that we attract, that we align to, okay? So we are cleansing ourselves out. Yes, we're going through a lot of awakening, and that awakening has come through tragedy, right? That's how awakening happens. You go through something tragic to awaken your senses. You're being jolted out of your reality, right? And again, this is the nature of a trial. We're being shown who we really are. And we're seeing those people who are within our circle, who they really are, right? Because we have these tragedy situations that are unfolding on the planet, and you're seeing each of these people as they really are, how they respond, how they act. So if you don't go and do this, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I'm going to disown you as a child. Where is this coming from? You know, the years past, my father, my mom, my brother, my sister never acted like this. And now it's around the 2020s, I'm seeing them like this. 2020, 2021. I'm seeing them like this. What the heck is going on? They've never been like this. Well, you've seen them with their veil drop. Right? Here's the veil. There it is dropping. And now you're seeing it as it really is, right? So like I said, a lot of this was happening in the early 2020s, right? We were seeing it a lot more obviously. It's become very, very apparent, right? So again, we use the BCR technique to help us through this time of cleansing, of awakening, and succeeding our own self-trial, okay? We're putting ourselves on trial right now. Humanity is basically on trial right now to see exactly where humanity goes, okay? And like I said, it's a very positive future ahead, but we have a lot of dirt and grime and gunk to clean up on the planet, because this planet has been abused for thousands of years by people who we have considered to be our leaders, but are nothing more than just leading a parasitic regime, right? So we are working together with our heart to see ourselves in our authenticity. And then we're spreading that light out through our variants, and then through extensions, through the extensions of family. Basically, I would refer to it as your life circle, okay? Your life circle is indicating everybody in your life who is important to you. family, friends, acquaintances, co-workers, etc. Okay, that's your life circle. And we're going to be getting into that after we work with the variance. Okay, tomorrow we're going to do a little bit more of a Q&A with variance, right? With a little bit more of extension healing with variance. Then after that, we're going to move into the life circles. Okay, that's going to be working together with extensions, right? With quote unquote other selves. Okay, so we're going to do one more day of this tomorrow. Then we're going to go into life circle healing. Okay. All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today for the variance. Again, I went a little bit extra, got into a little bit more extra information today, but again, it's all in complement to the BCR technique. So if you guys do have any questions, you can feel free to put that in the chat. Like I said, I just wanted to really cover everything regarding the variance today, right? Just looking into additional variant healing. So like I said, that's an important thing. Just make sure you have a major timeline, right? Just as I drew, and you have those markers along the timeline. And those are major events in your life. That's what you want to work with first, okay? You're working with your variance, okay? Just go with the major timelines. Go with the major markers, right? Start with those first. And if you want to go into deeper stuff, absolutely go into deeper stuff. That's what we do as healers. We leave no stone unturned. Once we do that, we're going to start moving into life circle healing, okay? So like I said, I'm shoving a lot of stuff in your guys' face that, believe me, is not going to be done in a couple of days. But nonetheless, you're utilizing this as a reference, okay? This is why, again, the 30-day challenge is being recorded here, and you have this playlist, right? So you're going through your own personal healing that we've been spending the first 2 weeks on, right? Just working to clearing yourself out in regards to present day situations, okay? Then we move on to the variance. We move on to extension healing, starting with the variance, okay? Once we take care of that, then we move on to extension healing regarding our life cycle, our life circle, okay? I'm calling it life cycle. Our life circle, which represents everybody in our life that is important to us, okay? That's going to be the next stage. After that, that will basically sum up the 30-day challenge, right? Then we're going to go into some frequently asked questions, and we're going to go into some more demonstrations as well too, right? So I'm just taking you guys up into the life circle, right? Then we get into FAQ. The last couple of days, we're actually going to be doing some Zoom webcasts, okay? Because I would actually like to hear your guys' voice, right? So maybe day 28, 29, or 30, or something like that, we'll do some Zoom casts, some Zoom webcasts. You guys can tune in, and I can hear your voices. You can tune on to video if you want, and you can ask questions that way, all right? So we'll have a lot of stuff to cover as we get closer to the tail end of the 30-day challenge, all right? Okay. Let me just go through questions right now. I'm just going to say hello to everybody here. Hello, everybody. Okay. David of Shield says, newborn trauma is only the beginning of a lifetime of traumas and is orchestrated where that's where it happens. That's where it happens. As soon as you leave your mom's womb, that's where the trauma begins, quite commonly for the majority of us, right? I'm not speaking for every single person on the planet. There may be certain people that basically hold ceremony, that consider this to be a very, very sacred time, and they treat it as such, and the baby is welcomed into the world. There are some people like that, right? But for the majority of us, particularly in the Western world, right, where there's hospitals involved, no, it's quite the opposite, right? But yes, for a lot of us, that's where the trauma began. It certainly started with me in that way, all right? Okay. So Allison asks, Brad, do the videos of the gamma waves help or other frequency recording? Guys, don't look outside for your answers to spike up your gamma waves, okay? It's what you do not do. Don't look for an outside pill, okay? If you're looking at videos like binaural beats or something like that that's trying to trigger up your gamma waves, don't, okay? Gamma waves are very, very sacred, okay? There's a spiritual alignment to the gamma waves, all right? You're not looking for a gigantic red pill to take to feel like you're going to step up your gamma waves. So some people are claiming that that is happening, right? Like I said, they may use binaural beats or isochronic tones or other particular forms of sound healing in that way. And there's a good thing with sound healing. It does help in certain ways. But with your gamma frequencies, no, you have to really work with the inside. It is an inward journey, right? Like I said, the gamma frequencies are spiritual knowledge. That's really what it represents. You're connecting with the brain. You're connecting with the mind of spiritual intelligence, okay? That has to be an inward job. So what you're doing is you're practicing keeping yourself in low idle states, in subtle states of being. So we're not looking on YouTube for red pills about here you go, here's something that'll step up your gamma waves. Because again, really, first of all, you don't even know how those people discovered that, right? Science is still quite baffled by the nature of gamma wave frequencies. They haven't really quite figured it out yet. So how is someone just coming along and saying this is going to step up your gamma wave frequencies when they don't even really know what it is? You see? It goes back into the ancient traditions going back thousands of years, right? Where you work with deep meditation, and the more that you're going into those subtle states of meditation, you're noticing that you're getting a lot more spiritual insight, right? Spiritual knowledge is coming through you. That's been my journey for the past 13 years. I've been meditating. I've pretty much been meditating almost every single day, right? Going into those low idle states, being a channel, right? So as I've done that, the gamma wave spikes up, right? Because you're spending a lot more time in low idle, subtle states of being. That's the prerequisite, okay? It is not something outside of you. So it's not about a video. It's not about an expert testimony or anything in that nature. It's the idea that through what I've been through, because I speak from experience here, 13 years of meditation, spending it in low, idle, subtle states, and then measuring it with a device like this that I've had for a couple of years already, and being able to measure my gamma waves, right? And they've been spiked up significantly. Like I said, after I retired channeling, that's when it really spiked up, right? That's kind of why I was constantly getting these gifts of feathers, right? I woke up one morning and I had a feather placed on my bed, okay? No windows open, nobody's inside my house, right? At least not that no one physical anyways, right? And I just woke up because it was the night that I decided, okay, I'm going to go to August 31st. I'll finish up my channeling after August 31st, and then I'm going to move into spirit communication. And as soon as I made that decision, I could feel like heaven was praising me. It's like, yes, Brad's finally getting it. Yes, he's getting out of channeling. He doesn't need it anymore. The contract is up. He doesn't need to be with Adronis anymore. Even Adronis was celebrating. He says, finally, he gets it, that I can finally put myself out of a job, right? So again, I woke up that morning, and there was this little brown feather placed right by my bed, right beside me, right? And as I went throughout the day, I looked in the sky, and there was a feather cloud shaped exactly like a feather in the sky. I actually put that picture up on my Facebook, right? And I walk on the beach, and there's this nice feather right in front of me, a nice white feather directly in front of me as well. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting these feathers everywhere. What's going on? As I tuned into it, it's saying that you're moving into an elevated state. You're moving into higher ground. You're moving into higher frequency. It's a gift from spirit, right? And again, I check with my gamma wave states, and it skyrockets, right? So that's all you're doing, is that as you start to take out a lot of these blockages from yourself, you're going to be amazed at how much you spike, right? This has happened to me constantly throughout the years. When I realized I was hanging on to something and I let it go, I spike, right? It's kind of like a buildup. It's like kinking the garden hose, right? You put a kink in it, and you're looking through the hose and say, why isn't there flow coming in? And then all of a sudden you see this kink. Well, there's a kink here. You release the kink. What happens? You get that buildup of water flow coming through the garden hose, okay? Well, that's exactly what's happening with us. We have to look at these kinks in life and take out the kinks. And as we do, we see this buildup of water just pouring out of the garden hose. Well, that's exactly what happens, right? It's exactly why you guys are doing the BCR technique, because you're going to remove a lot of kinks, okay? I've seen it. I've heard it on the Telegram group, where you guys are just exploding with realizations, and sometimes it takes a few days. You guys take a few days to do the BCR technique, to really get into it, and all of a sudden you know you're releasing something, and you feel lighter than air, and there's that buildup. That is that buildup of pressure that is now being released, and you soar, right? As you continue to do this, and you're going into those low idle states, those subtle states of being, you're going to really spike up the gamma waves, okay? That's how it's done. I know of nothing outside of you that can do that. If it wasn't outside practice, I'd tell you guys. But it's not, guys. This is not about outside practice, right? Everything that I've been through these past 13 years, my revelations have always come from inside. It has not come from outwards. If it was, I'd tell you guys. It's not, right? My entire goal of creating this entire channel for the years that I've been here has been to document all of my sharings of doing this spiritual work with you guys, right? And I just came into this just as an ordinary guy, a guy who was very unemotional, a guy who was very much into the physical world at one point, and then I shifted and I moved into this whole new world, right? And I said, I'm going to document this. I'm going to share my entire experience with the world and see how everything goes. And so here I am, 13 years later, sharing all this with you still, right? So there's nothing special about me. It's what I've been telling you guys from day one. Like, oh, Brad, no, there isn't. Come on, guys. I'm no different than you, okay? I've just taken this very, very seriously, right? The only differences between us are the differences in realization, okay? So yes, maybe I have a lot more realization than some of you, okay? That's not meant to be boasting or anything like that. But everything really, we're on equal ground, right? You guys have greater realizations than me on certain areas, right? So this is something that this has been my religion, so to speak. It's the religion of the inner self, right? So this is why I'm sharing this with you guys, because everybody should have the BCR technique, because I've seen it work not just through myself, but through others as well. I'm seeing it how it's working with you guys. I'm seeing how you guys are exploding with all of this new realizations because you're doing the BCR technique, okay? And like I said, it's kind of sad to me in a certain way, because I'm really only seeing maybe about 100, 150 of you out of a channel that has 40,000 subscribers, right? That's a little sad. That's less than 0.01% of people on my channel that are actually doing the BCR technique. It's pretty sad, right? But I'm happy that at least 100, 150 of you are doing this, because that shows to me that you're serious, because you're the people I want to work with. I'm not interested in working with anybody who does not take this seriously. I am not interested in working with anybody who is just closed-minded to all of this. I will not help them, right? I'm helping those who are serious. I'm helping those who want to open up, who want to make a difference, who want to change themselves, who want to transform, who want to start living through the heart. Those are the people I'm here for. I'm not here for anybody else, right? So my sessions reflect that. I'm going to be doing sessions here again in October. In the next few days, you guys can sign up for one if you want. And like I said, it's just a matter of saying, Brad, I have all this. I want to shift. I want to change. Perfect. You're the person I want to work with, okay? That's where I'm coming from. And I've been saying that for years. So if you guys are not interested in this, don't be here. I'm not interested in working with you, right? It's the people who take this seriously. It's these people who want to change, these people who want to shift. Those are the people I'm here for, okay? Very good. Okay, let's move on. Sudiboo says, could you expand on natural alphas? I feel like a natural theta sometimes after having tried binaural beats. I was surprised. Well, you want to get one of these, right? You want to get one of these ECGs, right? Measuring your brain waves, and you're being able to tell, okay? I will tell you guys how to go into alpha. It's very simple. Okay? That's all you're doing. You're looking up. There you are as a natural alpha. And you're doing that frequently throughout the day. As you start to do that frequently throughout the day, your brain chemistry is going to change. Your brain waves are going to change, okay? So you could try it even in 10-second intervals, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, do it again, okay? You could even do it through 5-second intervals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rest for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you're not even counting. You're there. You're just in that space. And that's bringing you into a natural alpha state. Okay? As I've talked about with theta, okay, you are making your body react to your mind stimulation, right? So if you're very hungry, for example, your stomach's growling, you close your eyes and you imagine your favorite food item is right here and you're just about to bite it. You feel your salivary glands just intensifying, right? Your mouth is being filled with saliva and your body's reacting to the stimulation of your mind. That's a theta state. Okay, when you're being sexually aroused, that's a theta state. Okay, so it's when your body is reacting to your mind stimulation, like a daydream. Okay, but you're making a very active, lucid daydream, right? So there's nothing in my hands, but I'm imagining that there is because I'm so friggin' hungry and the salivary glands are just going up like crazy. Then I'm moving into a theta state. Okay, so that's all it is that when you are stimulated, it's kind of like when a person goes into deep meditation and they see a beautiful ocean in their mind and they feel the calming waves and they may hear birds and they can feel the sand touching their feet and they can actually feel their feet moving, right? That's a theta state, right? You're going into an active daydream. Theta is active daydream, where your mind and your body are reacting together as one, okay? That's the theta state. Delta is a little bit different. Delta is more of a deep sleep state, right? So your delta waves can still be very, very high as well too, because there's a part of you that again is working with the deeper conscious, right? You're working more with the collective consciousness. The two waves that are strongest with me are the alpha and the delta, okay? Theta is kind of okay, but and of course gamma is starting to spike up a lot more too. But my two waves that are the strongest that I've noticed through monitoring my brain waves is the alpha and the delta states, okay? In the delta states, you're accumulating a lot of information from the unconscious, right? The collective unconscious is actually streaming through you. And that's why I was able to do Akashic records and channeling and all that, right? People with very strong delta states are able to basically pull information out of the air quite easily because there's that active part of the brain working with the delta wave that's actually accessing the collective unconscious, and where therefore invoked in regards to a state of comprehension can share that information through the collective unconscious to the conscious self, to anybody else. So that's what a highly active delta wave does, right? So it's kind of like in the asleep state. It's not technically asleep though. It's just accessing the collective unconscious. And so you can actually command your delta wave to pull information out of the collective unconscious to share it. And this is what I've been doing through channeling, through mediumship, through Akashic records, even when I was doing remote viewing as well too, right? Some of us just have that natural ability just to go into the delta, go into the collective unconscious, state a command, and now get an answer out of it. This is what I've been doing for years, whether I'm channeling Adronis or just speaking as myself, right? And I've always told you guys, where I am right now, even though I'm not channeling Adronis, when I do my Friday webcasts, ask me questions that you would ask Adronis, because they'll get answered, just like he was able to bring, right? But it's going to be even greater than the answers that he was able to bring, because he always had conditions. Again, I'm going off topic here a little bit, guys, and I apologize. But the nature is that this is why channeling was so limited with Adronis, okay? He wasn't human. And as he was not human, there are certain conditions that he was not allowed to share, because he was in the outer ring relating to our knowledge. He was basically a stranger in that way. I mean, his family in that way, but he was not incarnated on earth. Because he's not incarnated on earth, they have limits about what they're actually able to talk about, right? So there are certain things where Adronis would say, we are sorry, we are not able to answer this at this time, right? And so he would talk about that. He's not able to answer certain things, right? Because he's not part of the earth plane. When you have a human being that is very deeply connected to spirit, they have a much more wider berth of what actually can be shared, right? A lot of people are under the belief and saying, well, if I talk to an extraterrestrial, I'm going to get all of this incredible information. No, not really. You're going through conditions. You're going to have a lot of great information to come through, but a lot of it is going to have conditions to it. Conditions apply because that entity is not from Earth, right? They have not tapped into the living library of Earth, right? Adronis is a little bit different because he had me, right? But there's only so much information that he could share. When that is out of the picture, when an entity is now out of the picture, you have a direct communication with spirit, and nothing is really confined. The only confinement is your own comprehension and your own vocabulary, right? To being able to share and postulate these things. This is why I say when you work directly with spirit, it is 1,000,000,000 times greater than channeling. When you work with spirit, it is 1,000,000,000 times greater than any form of proxy mediumship or proxy healing or proxy channeling or proxy psychic activity whatsoever. When you are a direct, natural vessel for spirit, it is greater than anything. and I felt it. I'm still feeling it. Okay? I'm saying this from experience. So maybe you guys have that experience as well too, and you can vouch for what I'm saying, right? Some of you were channels, and you decided to step out of that, and you're now being a natural vessel of spirit, and you're seeing this unfold. You're going to notice a big difference. It's like comparing a dewdrop to an ocean, and spirit is the ocean. The channel was the dewdrop. Okay. Anyways, I know I'm getting off topic, but I felt I needed to share that. Okay. Just going down the list here a bit more. We'll probably take one or two more questions and we'll wrap up. Angela says, so do you not recommend binaural beats, Brad? Oh, no, I'm not saying I'm not recommending binaural beats, guys. You said everything was a good thing, help us change it. Yeah, of course it is, right? If you're working with theta, if you're working with alpha, you're working with delta, absolutely. You can work with brainwaves, but I would say just look at something that you feel you want to look at your heart, because here's the thing, okay? I'm just being honest, guys. There are certain people that put binaural beats up on YouTube who don't really know what they're doing, okay? They basically have these automated programs and they think they have an understanding of some of these binaural beats, but if you continue to listen to them and you're noticing that there's a lot more tension that comes into you afterwards, then you're basically causing a lot more scrambling of your brain waves than actually harmonizing them, okay? I'm only telling you guys the truth. There are certain frequencies that I listen to and I said, no, this doesn't feel right. It feels like there's a scrambling going on, okay? So people are well-intentioned, but if they don't know what they're doing, if they have no recollection, if they have no education about binaural beats or about how the brain works, these particular frequencies can cause scramblings, okay? And that scrambling can actually lead to short-circuiting, it can lead to tension, it can lead to stress, it can lead to traumas as well too, because you're causing a short circuit and you're causing scrambling, all right? So it's kind of like you listen to the first minute of a track, right? Because I've done that. I've looked into some of these binaural beats on YouTube, like listening to it, nope, stop. It's not good, right? Because I can feel what's going on inside me, right? It just feels like a scrambling. It doesn't feel right, okay? So you have to really use your own intuition here. You have to use your own intuition and just saying, okay, let me just take a minute. I'll sample 1 minute of this track and I'll tune into it. This is good. This is really good. I can feel a nice gentleness to it. That's a track that I'm going to work. You guys have to use discernment, okay? Just because something's on YouTube that says it's a binaural beat doesn't mean it's going to help you, okay? So no, I'm not bashing binaural beats at all. Like when I go to sleep, I listen to some good binaural beats. I listen to some good music that stimulates the theta and the delta states, okay? What I'm saying about the gamma state, okay? You cannot really stimulate that through an outside force, right? Because a lot of people don't really know what the gamma frequency is yet, right? So I have not seen any particular form of outside stimulation for your gamma state, okay? Your gamma is very, very different, right? So when you're working with your alpha, your theta, your delta, that's great. If you find something that you feel you're in tune with, go ahead and use it, okay? But what I'm saying here, guys, is to look inside of yourself, to go within, to do meditation, to go into the subtle state frequencies, to go into low idle, and that's what's going to build up your gamma frequencies naturally, okay? Gamma wave frequency is the spirit frequency. It is the truth frequency, okay? You cannot replicate that from the outside. It builds itself up, right? It accumulates itself by you being a natural, subtle state being, right? You're moving into the subtle states. You're moving into the low idols. That's the gamma frequency, okay? So no, I would not suggest using any form of music or binaural beats when it comes to the gamma frequency, okay? But again, listen to a track for about 1 minute, okay? If it's something with the alpha, the theta, and the delta, go for it. If it's something that feels good to you, go for it. But you may just listen to something and say, no, turn it off. I can't stand it. Listen to yourself, okay? Don't say, oh, come on, it's a gamma, it's a binaural beat, it'll be fine. No, turn it off. You have to be your own filter here, okay? You have to be discerning because there is some crap music on YouTube, right? Relating to binaural beats, isochronic tones, hemispheric music, etc. A lot of it can be garbage, and you will tell that by just listening to the first minute of it, okay? So if you're listening to the first minute of it and it feels good to you, then keep using it. That's fine. But if you know and just no, it's like nails on a chalkboard, I got to turn it off, it's not good. Listen to yourself. Okay, it's very important. All right, that's what I'm saying. Okay. All right, guys, I think we're good. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It was a bit of a long broadcast today. So tomorrow, being Friday, I will be doing the BCR Technique 30-day challenge at 10 a.m., okay? And it'll only be about a half hour long because I'm going to do New Earth TV Live after that at 11 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, all right? So thank you. Like I said, I know I've gone sidetracked a bit today with other information, but I hope it serves, right? Really, we're here for the BCR Technique, but I wanted to share my background with you guys so that you can see exactly how much the BCR Technique has helped me and what it's actually doing. And it's helping you to go home into the heart and live there. That's the essence of the BCR Technique, okay? Work with your variants. We're going to do another variant day tomorrow, okay, with another extension healing. And then on Saturday, we're going to start working with the life circles, all right? Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Take care.